everyone, Neil from Bookbowl here, and in this video we're going to go over how to add solutions to your mazes. So as you can see, we are on the computer here. I've started a brand new project in the Bookbowl studio. I've named it Mazes with Solutions, and this is how you'd want to go about adding solutions to your mazes. There's a few different options that we're going to go over. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to select page 1 here. We're going to leave the cover blank for now. And in order to get to the mazes, you want to open up the page templates in the left-hand menu. Now from here, we have maze as a tag, so we can go ahead and select that, and you'll see there's 5 different mazes. So each one of these has slightly different options. You can check those out in a previous video that should be in the Facebook group. But we want to go and select one of these. So let's go ahead and select rectangle mazes, and it's going to ask how many pages you want to put mazes on. Now for this video, we're only going to do 1 page at a time, because it's very important we get comfortable with all the options before we do an entire project. That way it's going to save us a bunch of time in the long run. So let's go ahead and select page 1. We'll click on next, and we'll get to the options here. Now you should be fairly familiar with these options if you've ever done mazes in the past, but you'll notice there is now a new row, and it's called solution placement. Now by default, if I reset this to default, it's going to be after all the puzzle pages, which means if you put a puzzle on page 1, and you select solutions here, it's going to add the solutions on page 2. So let's go ahead, and first, we're not going to change anything about this. I do want to go over these 2 options first, and then we'll come back in and take a look at these other placement options. Now, you have the solution stroke width. This is going to be the solution itself that's drawn on the maze, how large it is. You can edit this in pixels and points, but what's kind of more important here is the solution line. Now, if we click on this color, you'll notice that there are a few different options. You can do a solid line, and remember, most KDP books are going to be printed in black and white, so you get the highest royalty. So I highly recommend you keep it in that color scheme. So that's going to be blacks and your dark grays. You can do color, but remember, if you're uploading to Amazon KDP and you're doing white paper, black and white, then it's going to print in black and white. So you can have a solid solution, you can have a dash solution, and you'll also notice there are different options here. So let's first just do a solid solution here. We'll click on next, and it's going to say, hey, where do we want to put the pages? Now automatically it is selected here, as you see, because we had the option right here that's going to place it after the puzzle pages. So let's go back to that. We're going to click on submit, and now it's going to page 1 will build the actual maze, and on page 2 it will have this right here. Now notice how these are dashed. Why are these dashed? Because I did not save my settings. So let's go ahead and do that again. We'll come in here, we'll select maze, we'll go to rectangle maze, we'll put it on 1 page only, and notice I did not click OK. Now if I clicked OK, solid line, we will go to next. It's going to put it on the next page. We'll click on submit. So again, on page 3, we have another maze, and on page 4, we have a solid line. Let's go ahead and do that one more time just to look at what the different options will look like. So we'll select page 5. Again, page templates, maze, rectangle maze. We're going to put it on 1 page just because we're going through, we're looking at what all the options look like. We'll select this, we'll select dashed, and you have butt line cap, square line cap, and round line cap. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these options on this video, but I do recommend you play around with this. You can change what the lines and what the gaps look like, but by default, if I just have them, default here, we're going to do round line cap, click OK, click on next, and submit the puzzle. Again, blank page, and here is the puzzle. So if I zoom in, you'll notice that these are rounded. So a lot of different options that you can play around with in order to get the right solution for your puzzle. Now let's do this one more time, but let's take a look at some of those other options that we had. So we come into page templates, select maze, select rectangle maze again, we'll put it on page 7. Your solutions placement. Okay, we've added a few different options here. Now, by default, it is after all of the puzzle pages, which means that if you're doing a 100-page project and you select 50 puzzle pages, the next 50 pages will be the solutions. We also have a few different options now. You can do no solutions, so if you just want the puzzle itself. You also have on the same page. So if we select on the same page here, we're going to do nothing else and submit it. You'll notice that it's going to put a puzzle and the solution on the same page so that you don't have different pages with a blank puzzle and a puzzle with solutions. Now let's go back and do the same thing, but take a look at a few of these different options. Now, if we select page 8, you also have manually select the solutions page. This is really helpful if you're doing a mix and match of different types of puzzles. So I can show you what that looks like in a minute. We have the next page after each puzzle page. So for example, if you are doing a puzzle where you have puzzle on page 1, page 3, page 5, right, every other page, that means that the pages that are left blank in the middle will then have the solution. So I really highly recommend that you play around with these. But if you do manually select puzzle pages, remember we selected page 8, so that's going to be where the puzzle itself is. Where's the solution going to go? Well, we can manually select it. And then on the next page, we can say, hey, even though the puzzle is going to be on page 8, maybe we want the solution on the last page. So we'll select that, and you'll notice page 8 will then have the blank puzzle, and if we scroll all the way down to the one that we selected, the very last page will have the solution. So that's going to be how to add solutions to your mazes. We've also introduced these two other puzzle types, so hopefully that is helpful and helps speed up the process of creating those puzzle and activity books. They're going to get you a lot more visibility on Amazon because you can ask for higher prices. They're a little bit more complicated with a higher barrier to entry. We've noticed a lot of people having a lot of success with different puzzles. So that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop them down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.